Good morning. Happy first Saturday of 2025. I couldn't be here yesterday, so I wanted to share some things on this Colorado foggy Saturday morning. So, a few days ago, I was in a coaching group with 7 women, and all of these women have achieved success in their careers. They've raised families, they've been through tons of transformation, they're committed to personal development, and so they've been doing amazing things throughout decades of their life. One of them is in the editing stage of her 5th book. She has raised a family of 4 children. She's married to a very financially successful man, and they have built a life of wealth and apparent freedom that almost anyone would find enviable. She is really smart, beautiful, funny, and remarkably humble. And I asked her what she has in mind for 2025. And she responds with a complete list, okay? If I can remember correctly, I want to work on losing weight. I want to publish my book. I want to help my son find a business that makes him happy, and I want to invest in that. I want to work on my boundaries with my friends. And these words just roll off her tongue. Like she has this running list in her head, all of the things that she wants to fix, heal, improve, and change in her life. And then I ask her the question that we've all heard hundreds of times when being coached or mentored. So, what has prevented you from accomplishing these things in the past? And I watch as her eyes search her mind for the answer to that question. When she finally speaks, I swear I hear a chorus of 1 million women all saying the same thing coming through her voice. Here's what she said. I have been working on the same things for so long. And she says, I guess there's just a lot of doubt. I think I just have to work harder. I mean, I know what to do, basically. I just need more accountability. I get distracted from pursuing my personal goals. Maybe I need more clarity. Maybe I'm paying too much attention to what everybody else needs. I need to work on having more clarity. And the chorus just continues. I feel like I'm waiting for permission from someone else, but I know I'm supposed to just give that to myself. I know I'm supposed to love myself. I know I'm the only one who can give myself permission. I'm just not sure if I'm really qualified to teach these writing classes that I want to teach or guide others, even though I do have years of experience. I mean, I have published 5 books, she says to me, or about to publish her fifth book, right? I don't want to seem selfish or demanding. The self-promotion thing is also huge with women, and I'm going to mention that in a second, but it kind of comes to this. So she says, I'm not sure I should charge that much. What if they think I'm greedy? I feel like I always have to fight to prove my value. Maybe I am just overreacting to everything and I should just let it go. I'm not ready to take the spotlight. What if I fail publicly? I mean, it just goes on and on, okay? It's a privilege for me to know and work with these women so intimately and do what I can do to support them in their growth. And in the past 7 years of working with women in coaching groups, I have noticed this recurring and pervasive theme. It is a relentless struggle with self-doubt. It doesn't seem to matter how accomplished they are. The fear of visibility or failure, they are two sides of the same coin. The fear of visibility, being seen, being acknowledged, and the fear of failure is one of the shared experiences among women. Women often doubt their instincts. They question whether their feelings are even valid. They get lost in analyzing, questioning, negative feelings, looping thoughts. There's this fear of appearing to be too much or not enough. And wobbling between these two polarities is a really big issue. It's so deeply ingrained. And when I hear this from so many women, it just highlights that this discomfort isn't personal, it's cultural conditioning. When I hear these doubts voiced year after year in coaching sessions, it becomes very evident that they are not individual flaws, but these are manifestations of shared societal scripts, I would call them. And one would hope that this awareness alone would be incredibly liberating, helping all of these women to see that their struggles are not just isolated burdens, but part of a broader shared experience among women. However, the cultural frameworks that reinforce these doubts don't just dissolve. And as women are forced to encounter the resistance of these established frameworks every single day, the awareness just becomes fleeting. It has very little power. And think about it. If we know that 90% of our thoughts come from subconscious patterns, and then those patterns are reinforced in our environment, it takes a lot of intention and energy to break through these cycles. The answer is not just one of those questions that this lovely woman was asking. What if we had the capability, which we do, by the way, and we turned doubt on its head by doubting what we doubt? The awareness is like step one, right? To become aware of the thoughts and the patterns. And when you flip a script, it means you're going to question the assumptions behind every uncertainty. What if the doubt itself is flawed? Just rooted in fear, old beliefs, incomplete information. And when we begin to give ourselves permission to doubt our doubts, we can reclaim some of that energy and even power, which comes organically from that energy. Since we're always imagining and talking to ourselves in our minds anyway, why not shift the narrative? And when women begin to see that they have these conversations in their minds, these silent questions due to social conditioning, they can begin to impersonalize the doubt and begin to question the outside frameworks that drive and encourage these patterns. The bottom line is that we're all being run by these negative emotions and thought patterns, and the framework supports repression through more action. It's a cultural thing, and that is the seed of toxicity that, especially for women, keeps that loop going. This is just my opinion from working with women for so long. I mean, I see the same thing over and over and over. And it doesn't matter if you're 30. I mean, I've talked to people in their 20s and 30s all the time, especially in hospitality, and to older women. I mean, from, mid 20s all the way up into their 70s. Um, and it's crazy to me that this same pattern is being reinforced. Take, for example, the fact that even in 2025, hustle culture and the I am what I do mindset remain pervasive in business. And these pressures reinforce toxic patterns by glorifying stoicism, overwork, and emotional detachment as markers of success. And when work culture equates an individual's worth solely on productivity and achievements, leaving no room to freely acknowledge or process feelings, stress and burnout ensue. Passive aggressive. Like, this is why, oh gosh, this is like a 10-hour conversation. But if you talk with, and I do speak with a lot of millennials about how they experience work. Man, this is for another conversation. So let me just go on with women right now. But these things, that this kind of, the old fashioned, like, get after it. It's, and as much as I like love and adore and agree with Grant Cardone, even he has, it's much more about who you are and then acting out of that. And the only way to understand who you are is to process these negative things that have been repressed for so long, and the hustle culture, let's get after it, kind of mentality is toxic to that. It inhibits authentic connection in professional and personal spheres. And challenging this narrative involves completely redefining success to include self reflection, emotional well being, and the courage to embrace the vulnerability necessary to break through these patterns. I have built teams through this, not even understanding what I was doing over and over, start beginning years ago. Can women succeed by fighting their way through these worn out structures? Absolutely. And most of them have, right? But should they have to? That is another question to consider. How much more energy would they have if these barriers to efficiency were simply dissolved? So, the goals this woman has come from this quiet voice that maintains the hope of possibility. So much of her energy is over here in the hope of possibility, but it doesn't have the energy to overcome the environment because of many, many factors that we don't have time to explore here. But shedding these doubts doesn't come from contemplating them and feeding them, but through acknowledging the emotion beneath them. This is what I have seen works, and taking time to feel and release them and make space for the clarity and energy that is already here. It is this pushing, forcing, trying to figure it out, you know, all of those frameworks, they are not efficient. The commitment to simple, doable daily habits that support the accomplishment of goals becomes a viable strategy. And we do this without force, without effort. We move with quiet intention and the power that is already in us. Now, this is certainly a huge, tremendous, humongous topic that I can barely touch the surface of here. And you're asking probably, what does this have to do with hospitality? Well, one thing I know for certain, all people, including ourselves, accomplish much more readily when they are inspired. People are not inspired by force, fear, comparison, threat. It goes back to that old, the carrot or the whip, the donkey thing. That's not, neither one of those inspires people. People are inspired not by what they know to be accurate. Everybody knows this stuff. People are inspired not by what they know to be accurate, but by what they can believe is possible for them. It has to be a head and heart connection. If you're a woman, I invite you to begin to ask new questions in 2025. What if I could accomplish the things that matter so much to me by flipping the script, flipping the rules? What if I took the time to do what women are naturally good at, expressing feelings, processing conversations, nurturing my own body rather than emphasizing the tendency to be empathic towards everyone else, repressing everything, and then handling it all through the incredible skill of controlling and overwork and all of that. What if I could achieve by focusing on what I need to let go of, rather than what the outside world tells me I need to add to myself? What if what I do was nothing but a reflection of who I am, and I could just relax into trusting that value? Here's another question, a different question. What if I were fully devoted to my true self, what goals would I pursue? Well, first of all, you have to know what your true self is, right? What environments or activities help me feel the most like me? What risks am I willing to take to live more authentically? What inner transformation do I want to celebrate? I mean, these are better questions. If you're a woman in hospitality and you would like to receive support, encouragement, insight around these issues and more, subscribe to a new weekly inbox delivery that I have created just for you. And it's called The Secrets to Being Happy in Hospitality, Satisfying Secrets Delivered to Your Inbox. I want to talk about this more. Expitality is the experience of hospitality because hospitality transforms the world, the experience of it. And I'm going on this little rant today because this idea of the experience of hospitality, which I talk about almost every week, is something we must extend to ourselves so that we can serve from a full cup. And all of these things that I'm saying are have become so cliche. And yet, if we take the time and in a group of people, and by the way, I am expanding two of my coaching groups for women. If any of you want to talk about that, just reach out to me. Because when you are surrounded by other like-hearted and like-minded individuals, these obstacles become so much less. You've all heard the idea of the obstacle is the way. I do believe that to be true, but there are ways to interpret that. And this is becoming much too long of a video. So I'm going to stop here, but I do invite you to ask yourself new questions. If you want to talk about this or you want to just learn the other stuff that I'm doing to support women, and men, but most especially just because I am a woman, this is how I am very aware of these issues and very happy to help. So, wishing you all a fantastic first weekend of 2025. I hope you are getting out in nature and reconnecting with who you are. Lots of love. See you next week, hopefully on Friday.